Okay, just a quick video here. Update everybody that's been watching the progress of the John Deere 720 winter maintenance. We've been doing and stuff on it. There it is. The tractor's all back together, back running. I've had it down in the field plowing several times now with it. We're done plowing. We are going to work some fields with it, but it's getting into July here now, and it's beyond planting time, so we're just going to get fields ready so next year we can, if it's dry enough, we can get stuff put in them. It's been so cotton picking wet this spring here in Pennsylvania and western Pennsylvania that lots of fields didn't get planted like they should, and some that got planted, there's very little growing in them because they was so wet. So and there's lots of fields right here in our neighborhood that are washed out really bad from the heavy rains we've had. So but that's the tractor now, as you can see it. Obviously, I painted the tractor. Again, it was a paint job, not a restoration, but I painted the tractor, the frame, the weights, the tin work, all that stuff. Didn't paint the wheels. Front wheels I painted last year. I get them cleaned up. They're dirty now just from working in the field, but I get them cleaned up. They'll shine up. The back wheels do need cleaned up yet and painted a little bit. So I've worked on them, but I got a whole list of things I did to the tractor here that I'll kind of go through it here. First, you can see we put new grills in the tractor. I painted them black. I've seen some other guys with black grills. I kind of like that black look. Plus it sets the tractor off just a little bit. I'm looking at them here and I see you got some green spots rubbed through for some reason. Must have got against something, trees or something there. And I'm going to have to touch the grills up, but that's, you know, big deal, minor. But I was going to try and use the old grills over. They were bent up a little bit and had a couple holes in them. I was going to try and braze them and clean them up, but for all the more those grills cost, I thought, boy, that's a lot of effort and stuff, so just buy new ones. So I did. I got them from Forever Green on eBay. Really good price on them. The front weights, you can see I painted them yellow just to make, they was originally green. I painted them yellow just to make them look a little bit different, to offset the tractor a little bit. Fighting flies. Coming around here, I put new intake manifold on, new exhaust not new, used. This is an LP manifold. This is an LP intake manifold. This is an LP exhaust manifold. Different than the regular gas manifold. The gas manifold is real big. Intake manifold sets out to here and comes over to here, and then it has a piece that comes over top of the exhaust manifold here and bolts in, and there's a valve I think that goes on the other side that you can turn and let exhaust gases in to warm the air going into the engine. This doesn't have that. I like the look of this. I knew this would work. I have a friend who has a 720 gas tractor, and I saw this set up on his tractor and could not figure for the life of me what that was and why that looks so different. But then I got to looking and reading on the internet and stuff, and that's an LP manifold, LP exhaust manifold on a gas tractor. Everything here bolts up just perfect. The gaskets are the same. From here out, it's exactly the same. From here back's the only difference right in here and this right here. So all worked out. So we're going to run that, see how that works. Right now it works perfect for running in warm weather. Come cold weather, it may be an issue. I don't know. We'll see how that works. I do know the tractor runs richer because when I go to start it, I don't need to. If I use the choke, it actually doesn't want to start. It's too rich. If I don't use the choke and spin it 3 or 4 times, the engine will start. So I may need to adjust the carburetor there, but other than that, it does run. And it runs good. I mean, like I say, had it in field plowing with it, plowed really nice, did really well. Next thing on the list here, up in top of the gas tank here, I repaired the gas gauge on top of the gas tank. I have a video on YouTube showing how I checked it. I didn't actually repair it. I confirmed that it works. Let's say it that way. But I have a video on YouTube shows you how to check that gas gauge with a multimeter, with an ohm meter on a little multimeter that I had there, and how you check that. So that's working. The gas gauge itself is not working, and I thought I had a bad gas gauge to begin with, and apparently I do, because I did break a stud off of it. Taking it apart, the nut wouldn't come off, and it just twisted the stud off. I tried to braze it back together to make connection, and apparently it's not working. I'm going to have to get a new gas gauge. That's a minor thing really, to do that, but I just didn't get that done yet. That's maybe next year. I put anti-skid material here on the flywheel cover of the tractor. Whenever we're riding on the tractor, when I'm riding with Cassandra and she's driving, or if the kids are riding with me, they always put their foot right here. So the idea was, number one, is keep this from getting scratched up so much. It's still getting scratched, I see, to start with, but it was mostly to give some grip here in case something were to happen or something. They've got some grip to hold themselves in place while they're setting up there. Repaired the starter. I've been having issues with the starter. I broke the nose cone on the starter twice. The first time it broke, I have no idea why it broke. Second time, I didn't weld it very well the first time when I repaired it. This second time, I took the time, effort, ground it clear down to nothing, welded it from the inside clear back out on the thickness of the cast iron there and everything, and ground it up. It's holding up, it's working. I do have a couple things I want to try with it to help prevent that again, which one of them is to put a rubber stopper on the end of the shaft between the bendix and the end of the inside edge of the nose cone, so that bendix would come out and would hit like a piece of rubber hose or something, instead of hitting the end of the bendix hitting the inside of the nose cone, which is what breaks it off. So like I say, it's something we'll do here, but that's a down the road project here, as long as I don't break the starter again. Rebuilt the float ride seat. I don't know if you can see in there, all new bushings on all the corners of the seat, all new parts in the, all new bushings in here. Got a new shock absorber for it, put a new shock absorber on it. Repaired the battery box. The battery box was broke here, like in all four corners is broke, and I took a acetylene torch and welded this all up, then ground it down smooth and stuff, and cleaned that all up. Set's really nice now. Everything works about the seat. The adjuster back here did not work at all. I've got it loosened up. It works. I got it adjusted for 200 pounds. I may be cheating just a little bit by calling it 200 pounds, but it sets me well. So that works pretty well there. Put a new chain on it for the top link. I'm not sure that's how that hooks up, if that's correct or not. I'm not. I have to see another one hooked on a tractor somewhere to know that the right way to hook that top link chain on. But it's dangling down in here, you can hear it. The top link itself was on the tractor. I've got it off right now because I'm trying to lighten the tractor up to go tractor pulling with it. I'll tell you that story in just a minute here. I rewired the tractor. This tractor had an odd thing about it. You'd be going out along across the field there, and it would just flat out shut off on you. And then you reach up underneath here and jiggle these wires and shake them, get back on the tractor, and it would go again. So I rewired everything from on the starter switch and everything up here, and it seems to have worked because it hasn't done it since. So that all worked. New wires out to the generator and stuff there. The only wires I didn't put on was these wires coming back here that simply go to the lights. They were fine. I went over all of them. They were good. So there was no sense rewiring them. So these are original wires here, of course, original battery wire and stuff. But everything from the dash forward on the tractor and up into that has been rewired. I put all new bolts and stuff in here. I got new bolt kit from Steiner's that had all that in it. Pretty nice set of bolts. Worked really well and stuff. The only thing is I was a little confused. There was a couple different sizes of lengths in there. I was a little confused with what went where, but I figured it out just by trial and error. There's a bushing goes in, a rubber bushing goes in underneath the hood here, and it came with new rubber bushings. I used them all over, and on the front they go in behind here, which I was glad I did because those weren't there whenever I took this apart. They were missing. So I confirmed it with my parts book that that's where those parts go. So I was pretty happy I got that. 90 bucks or so for that kit, but boy, it had everything in it that you needed. So I was pretty happy with that. The steering shaft, go around the other side of the tractor here. I did two things with the steering shaft. Number one, I got a new bushing. Put a new bushing in the steering shaft there, and I drilled a hole in the side and put a grease fitting in. I drilled a hole in that bushing before I drove it down in there. I was a little perplexed on putting that thing in. I'd first put that bushing in there and tried to slide the shaft through it to get it down in here. Well, that didn't work because apparently there's a different diameter on this end of the shaft than to just this part of the shaft here. So what I did is I slid this up on first. Let me say this, I did not have this stand or mount off the tractor. It stayed on the tractor. So I pulled this shaft out, completely out, slid the bushing up onto this part right here, slid the shaft back in, made the connection under the hood here. Then I come back and took a crescent wrench and slid a crescent wrench over and tightened it real tight and just bumped on the crescent wrench, drove that bushing right down in there. Beautiful. Just a perfect job. So I was really happy with that. When I bought this tractor, it was loose and had a lot of flopping around in there. Now it's nice and tight and just the way it should be. Steers just right. So I'm real happy with that also, the way that came out. Of course, new paint, new decals, like I say. Decals I got from Steiner. Really happy with them. Boy, they went on nice. You take and spray this area where you're going to put the decal on with glass cleaner. Spray the decal out the way you want it. This decal, that decal, I did them all the same so far. And then you squeegee the glass cleaner out from under the decal and it sets in place and dries. Really cool system. I was impressed with that. I thought that, because I was worried about, especially these John Deere ones. I thought all I got to do is get out there and get a bubble in that, or have it, you know, a crease come out here and get it to stick together on the back or something, and I just ruined that decal. But with their system, boy, that was really cool. I was really liked that. Really impressed with that. So I didn't put the 720 back on yet. This tractor had a 720 on it that was a green color. And it was an outline 7 with a center hollow, which showed the yellow through. It had 720 on it in regular block print. What come with the decals is a script that you put on an angle here. I'm looking to get those regular, or those old style is all I can call them. I don't know what block letters or block numbers for on there. Is what I'd like to have, simply because it sets my tractor apart from everybody else's. That's all. I know some guys that have made their own and they got black ones for on here, and I may get the black ones out of block print. And when I tore this tractor apart, and when I was sanding this down, right here, it had 720 up here also. So somewhere along the line, between the previous two owners, somebody put the numbers up here, and then somebody put the numbers down here in a block. But these numbers that I'm telling you about, the 720, that are open in the center that show the yellow through, are in the parts book. So they were part of what you could get for a 720 John Deere. So that part number is in the parts book. I've been searching it online, and I've only seen it once, and I missed it on an eBay auction. It went right before I found it. So new paint, new decals, chain for top link. Okay, the right wheel, rear wheel here, I fixed the wheel itself. It was being eaten through by the calcium, and had a pretty big hole right here, and when I'd spray soapy water on it, it would bubble up. So I put new valve stems in, got them, put them in. But then this is quick steel epoxy. It's a 2-part epoxy, comes like a little sausage. You cut a piece off, mix the 2 parts together in your hand real good, and then smear it out. And then I wet my finger and pushed it in there and smoothed this out around here. No leaks, sealed it all up. I paint that up, you'll never know that was there. So that's pretty neat there. I took all the calcium out of both wheels, got it all cleaned out. Got almost 110 gallon out of it. Got 2 55-gallon barrels there, just about filled up. Trying to lighten this tractor up, like I say, for so we can go tractor pulling here. One more thing, real quick, I did adjust the steering valve in behind this tin work here on that center pedestal there. There's a steering valve that's a centering valve, it's called, and you move it forward or backwards, and that adjusts how your steering down here works. either left or right. This tractor was steering real easy to the right, really hard to the left. I got it now where it steers evenly both ways, and I do have a video on YouTube about doing that. So if your tractor, if you have power steering 720 or 620, I don't know about any of the other tractors, look at that. This 30 series tractors, I don't know. They may be the same way, but you could look at that and see how I adjusted that steering valve and got the steering so that it steers the same easy both ways. What it was about was, I mean, it was a little hard for me to muscle around to the left, but I could do it. For the kids, it was really hard because they just don't have the arm strength and weren't used to doing that kind of thing, I guess. They were having a tough time with it. My granddaughter, when she was plowing the other day, was having did okay with it because they had to adjust it. But when we were tractor pulling last year, she was having a hard time getting it turned around to the left because it was so hard to steer. So got it now where it steers really good both directions. So the story on tractor pulling here is I try to lighten this tractor up. Last year, this tractor weighed 8,400 pounds with me sitting on it. All that calcium in the wheels, those front weights on, everything. So I've been adding everything up as I take it off, and I got all the calcium out of it. The front weights, I weighed them. They're 110 pounds a piece. So there's 330 pounds will come off when I take them off. Took the top link off. It weighed 25 pounds. I weighed it. Mostly the calcium coming out. I've taken 825 pounds of 825 and 840 pounds of calcium out of it. So that helped to get me down. Plus everything else I took off of it, some parts and stuff. Last thing to tell, right now, the way the tractor sets, it should weigh 7,185 pounds. I'm going to try and get it down further than that by taking I'm going to take the draft arm off here. I'm going to pull the part right here, pull this out, pull the entire draft arm, pull the elephant ear on both sides. That should get me down under 7,000 pounds. That gives me the opportunity to pull 7,000, 7,500, or 8,000, because I got 1,000 pounds. No, I got 1,400 pounds of suitcase weights. So I can pull 7,000 with one or two weights on it, pull 7,500, or I can get to 8,000 with the suitcase weights I have. Last year we pulled 9,000 and 10,000. 9,000 on transfer sled, and on the wall, one dead weight pull we pulled 9,000. Then the other dead weight pull that we pulled, we had to pull 10,000, and I had enough weight just to get me there. So this year it'll get us a lower class, so we'd be a little bit more competitive. I'm not worried about winning. It would be nice to win for my I'm not pulling it, she's pulling it. It would be nice to win for her, simply for her to say she won one. You know, maybe get a trophy, maybe get something just so that she got it, is all it would be about. But last year we pulled against, there was a pesky Ford 8000 that was at every tractor pull we was at. There was a 1206 at almost every tractor pull we were at, and there was an 806 at every pull we were at. You know, God bless them for, you know, I'm just saying that I got 50 horsepower. You know, those guys got 80, 90, 100 horsepower. we're never going to compete against those guys at all. As long as those three tractors there's at least 1, 2, 3, you know, unless something, this tractor would really hook up or something to the track. But we did really good. One pull last year that's on YouTube there up at New Centerville. We had an excellent pull. We beat all other antique tractors, I'll say that. But there was enough big tractors there that we didn't have a chance to compete to get anything as far as getting any placing anything. You know, and we're talking $60 if you win anyway, so we're not talking big money here. It's just bragging rights. But it would be nice for her if she got a little bit more competitive. So if we can get down into 7,000 pound class, now we can be competitive, I think. Depending on how it pulls. Of course, this is just like starting over again. New class, new weight, get the balance on the tractor right again. I mean, last year till we got to New Centerville, I had the balance perfect. The front end come up about 3 feet and just stood there. Really nice. Really proud of the way she drove it and the way the tractor handled. But next year I don't know what to, or I mean this year I'm not sure what we're going to be able to do, because like I say, it's a new class all over again. So anyway, that's the idea of lighting that tractor up, make us more competitive. But that's the update for anybody that's been watching, maybe been watching. Yeah, I know people are sitting out there wondering, whoa, how's a 720 coming along? Anyway, if anybody was thinking about it, saw my videos, was looking at it, that's the update on it. That's where it's at. She's back running, back in business. Like I say, we've been plowing with it stuff, and we're going to do some more disking, things like that in the field with it. That's why it's all dirty. But that's why I just painted it. I didn't restore it, because I do want to work this tractor a little bit. Because, hey, grew up doing it as a kid. From I was 13 till I was 19, running these things. And just farming's a good way of life. It's a good, you know, to me, of course, I'm not having to do it to make a living. It's very relaxing to go out and sit in the field. Just you, the tractor, and God, and your thoughts out there, you know. Just a good way of life. But like everything else in this world, times are changing, and boy, that way of life is certainly changing also. So anyway, that's the update, everybody. We'll put some more videos on here. We get tractor pulling. Tractor pull's going to start here this month, so we're going to get ourselves set up to get to these pulls and see what we can do. So hang in there, stick with us. We'll see y'all later.